So, how we doing, friends? Let me just turn this TV off now that I notice that it's on, and don't get in trouble for copyright violations. There we go. Welcome to FlamesNation Live. It's Pat Steinberg along with you from our Sportsnet 960 downtown studios. Just wrapped up doing Flames Talk wherever you get your podcasts. Had Matt Coronado on the show today, so go check that out. Would love to have you along for the ride on Flames Talk, and happy to have you along for the ride on Flames Nation Live. Who do we got with us? Dustin in first. We've got Jordan, Gorav, Kyle, Josh, Sam, Jeff, all with us. Get your comments in. Get your questions in on the live chat as it stands right now. Hopefully everybody is doing well on this Tuesday following a big win over the LA Kings on Monday night. Flames Nation Live brought to you by our friends at DoorDash. DoorDash yourself some dinner on a Tuesday night. You've got games on Wednesday and Thursday. You might as well. Another game on Saturday. If you're feeling tired, if you're feeling like you don't want to leave the house, DoorDash yourself some lunch or some dinner, some breakfast, late night snack, whatever the case may be. And don't forget to use the promo code FNLiveDD. So here's kind of the main thing we're talking about today, and that is a big win for the Flames in Los Angeles. Another 3-point night for Johnny Gaudreau, his 13th of the season, and the Flames that much closer to clinching a playoff spot and that much closer to clinching the Pacific Division. After the win over LA, Edmonton now has the best chance of catching Calgary for top spot in the Pacific, albeit Calgary still very much in the driver's seat, 6-point edge with one fewer game played than the Edmonton Oilers have. But I mean, I think the big thing, we talked about this all day on Flames Talk, like the buzz about Johnny Gaudreau and the Hart Trophy is starting to pick up. And it's starting to pick up in a big way. Like we've talked about Lindholm for the Selke all year, Daryl Sutter for the Jack Adams all year. Heck, Jacob Markstrom's been in the Vezina Trophy conversation since like November. But Johnny Gaudreau for the Hart Trophy. I don't have a vote. I'm not a member of the Professional Hockey Writers Association, but I know that the people who have votes in this city, Eric Francis and Wes Gilbertson and Haley Salvian and Kristen Anderson, and of course our own Ryan Pike. I know there's a big-time groundswell in this city for Johnny Gaudreau and the Hart Trophy, and at the very least being a finalist. But you know, is that something that picks up across the league? Frank Saravalli of Daily Faceoff, he talked a little bit about it on the morning show on Sportsnet 960 today. Basically saying that Johnny's going to be one of the 5 guys he puts on his ballot, just not exactly sure what order as of yet. If I had a vote, and I do not, but if I had a vote, Austin Matthews would be one. Unfortunately, I know we don't like the Leafs, all that type, but he's got 40 even strength goals. He has 54 goals overall, and he plays center ice. To me, Austin Matthews would get my 1, and Johnny Gaudreau would be my 2 when it comes to the Hart Trophy. If I don't have a vote, I don't know if Johnny's going to be a finalist when it's all said and done. I think he should be. I just don't know where the Flames would be without him. I think he's one of the most impactful players in the NHL. He's like, if he finishes where his plus minus is right now or above, he'll be the first player in more than a decade to finish with a plus 50 rating or more. And we don't even love plus minus anymore, but that's still impressive. He could finish with the second most points in Calgary Atlanta Flames history when it's all said and done. He's on pace for 113. That would put him second all time. I think the guy deserves to be in the Hart Trophy conversation, and I don't really think it's much of a debate anymore about him being in the conversation. Now, whether or not he ends up as a top 3 vote getter when it's all said and done, I don't know. He'd be in my top 3, but I watch him every day. Others don't, and that's why I never like to handicap how voting is going to go. So, yeah, I do think Johnny Gaudreau and the Hart Trophy, like I honestly believe that there should be a very, very large conversation about that, and we'll see if that ends up happening. To the live chat in just a second. If you're joining us live on Facebook Live right now, to that in just a second. I don't know if you see this hair right now, but it's a perfect segue into our next little bit here. After lighting the lamp, hit the showers with the all-in-one skin and hair kit that covers you from head to toe. Literally, thanks to Manscaped. Manscaped is trusted below the waist. Now trust them with the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLAMES. Once again, 20% off plus free shipping. Use the promo code FLAMES at manscaped.com, and then you don't have to worry about looking like a walking shrub like I do right now. This hair is ridiculous. I need Manscaped to take this hair down. If you'd like to get free shipping, 20% off, use that promo code at manscaped.com. The promo code, once again, is FLAMES. Let's dive in and see what we got on the live chat right now. Kyle says, what are the points to clinch? Magic number to clinch right now is 7, which means 14 points gained by Calgary or lost by Vegas would clinch them a playoff spot. As of right now, that won't change on Tuesday because Vegas or Calgary, neither of those teams play on Tuesday. So the playoff clinching number won't change. And it's 19 points gained by Calgary or lost by Edmonton that ends up as the magic number for clinching the Pacific Division. Gorav says, gutsy win by the Flames last night in a tight checking playoff style game. Was especially good to see Johnny able to take over a game like that. I agree, Gorav. That might be the most encouraging part of Johnny's game last night. It wasn't just that he was good. It wasn't just that he had himself a strong game. It was also that it was an important game in an important spot, and he took the game over, took the team on his back, and was the driving force of an important win and a win the Flames needed to have. So, yeah, I'm with you 100%. That was a really important win for the Flames and was a really important outing for Johnny Gaudreau. And he seems to be getting better as the year goes along, which going back to 2019 wasn't the case. Maybe that can add a little encouragement to the playoff narrative that surrounds Johnny Gaudreau. And I understand the narrative. He has had struggles in the playoffs before. Kyle says Sutter for Coach of the Year. Phil says, do you think the Flames will finish on top of the Pacific by the end of the season? I do. They're in the driver's side. So, yeah, I do think that they will end up winning the Pacific Division. Richard says, are you live on radio too? I'm in LA, so I can't tell. Not right now. This is live on Facebook Live, but I'm live on the radio in Calgary from 4 till 7 every day Calgary time and in podcast form. Just go look up Flames Talk on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever, and you can get that as well. We'd love to have you along for the ride on Flames Talk and love having you with us on FlamesNation Live. Daniel says, Pat, what's your ideal top 9 look like with Monahan out? Okay, this is my ideal top 9. I wish I had a graphic made up. I wasn't prepared for this, but my ideal top line, Lindholm line, of course, with Johnny and Matthew Tkachuk. I think the next, the number 2 line, if you will, would be for me Michael Backlund with Mangiapane on the left, Coleman on the right. And those 3, when together, have some of the best metrics in the NHL as a line, and a line with more than 300 minutes played together. So that would be my next line, Backlund between Coleman and Mangiapane. That would leave Yarncroke with Dubé and Toffoli. Or if you want, you could do, you could start to play around a little bit. Like if you wanted Ruzicka in there, maybe you could put Ruzicka with Yarncroke and Toffoli potentially, or you could go Ruzicka with Dubé and Toffoli, have Yarncroke centering a fourth line. There's a lot of different things you could do, but the main thing for me is I want Backlund, Mangiapane, and Coleman back together at some point because I think they're a really good line together. Pat asks, does Monahan on LTIR let the team do anything positive even after trade deadline? It allows them to recall as many players as they need, really, because I know, like, they don't really have any cap worries anymore. So the roster limit doesn't exist after the trade deadline, Pat. So they can recall as many players as they need. That's really the only thing that it allows them to do. So, for instance, it allowed them to recall Yusuf Alamaki and Adam Rizicka and Connor Mackey without having to put anybody else on IR because the roster limit doesn't exist and they've got plenty of cap credit. They're in a decent spot. What else we got here? Dylan says Flames need to start Vladar just to rest Markstrom. I agree. I think giving some rest to Markstrom is going to be important down the stretch. And yeah, whether it's the Ducks game or the Sharks game, I think Vladar does need some work. I really do. This from Chris says, Pat, does Peter Marr still attend games? I believe he still goes to some home games. Yeah. I've seen him a few times over the last number of years at home games. And that's only when he's recognized on the Jumbotron or something like that. He goes to quite a few games, I believe. Jesse says, with consideration to Johnny, what he means to the offense, team league-wide marketability, ticket and jersey sales, the additional growth to his overall game, the potential ramifications to Tkachuk's contract, there's no way this team lets him walk, is there? Does it cost Treliving his job if he doesn't get it done? I honestly believe that Brad wants to re-sign Johnny. I do, and I think when he says he'll move heaven and earth to sign a high-priority player like that, I think he means it. And on top of that, if for whatever reason he didn't, and I don't believe that to be the case, but if for whatever reason he didn't, I do think that Murray Edwards would step in. Like, to all those points you mentioned, Jesse, all of what he means on the ice and off the ice to this organization, I still think Johnny is going to re-sign. I'm not worried about that. I think it's going to happen, but it hasn't happened as of yet. So until it does, you always wonder a little bit, right? Did want to remind you about this as we continue along. Go on whether you are on the App Store, if you're an Apple user, or if you're an Android user on Google Play. Go download the Calgary Flames keyboard because it's awesome on your phone. I've been using it. It's pretty cool. The instant emojis, all that type of stuff. All you got to do is go search Flames keyboard. It's from Keymoji, and really easy to go download. App Store, Google Play, whatever. Once again, just go type in Flames Keyboard wherever you get your apps, if you're an Android user or if you are an iOS user. Really easy to do, and it's a cool way, especially if you're a diehard Flames fan. It's a really cool way to personalize your messages a little bit, and whether you're on Twitter or whether you're whatever the case may be, it's a really cool way to get that done. Go download the Calgary Flames Keyboard on Google Play or the Apple Store. A few more on the live chat right now. What else we got here? Daniel says, I honestly think Rizicka down the middle might be an upgrade on Monahan at this point. We'll see. I'm really curious to see how they use Rizicka down the stretch. Richard said, when was the last time the Flames had 5 20 goal scorers and 4 30 goal scorers, and how did they do those seasons? So the last time they had 4 30 goal scorers was the 90s. I don't have it in front of me, but Nieuwendyk was one of them. Roberts was one of them. Fleury was one of them. So it was I think 93, 94 was the last time they had 4 30 goal scorers. So it's been a while. Kyle says, how have you liked Coleman this year? As advertised. Smart. Good in the two-way game. Reliable, plays with energy, plays with a little bit of an edge. He's on track for the type of points that I think the Flames expected from him. I think Coleman's having a good year. I really do. And I think he's been all around it of late. He's been, he has not put up a ton of offense recently, but he's been around it. He's good on the penalty kill. He's good in the two-way game. I like Coleman a lot, and I think year one for him has been really strong, and as advertised is, and we haven't even seen him in the playoffs yet, and that's kind of the big next step for him. JP says, does 9.5 over 8 years get it done for Johnny? It might. I think that's kind of in the wheelhouse. Maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more, but I think in that wheelhouse, yeah. Jamie says, I think the moves Treliving has made really showed recently, especially last night. Depth is essential, and the big roster along with the farm are something they'll really appreciate the next few weeks. I'm pretty sure of it. That comes from Jamie. Pat says, do you see any call-ups cracking the lineup? Yeah, I think Mackey's got a chance at some point. I think Rizicka's got a chance at some point. And We'll see. I wonder about Uso as well. I think Uso will probably spend most of the rest of the season in the American League, but who knows what happens if you go on a long playoff run, right? So, yeah, I think Ruzicka Maki would be the best bets, and then Uso would be next. But I think they have some guys that recall wise could crack the lineup and maybe even be guys that crack the lineup come the postseason. Sam says, "Do the Flames win the cup, Pat?" I'll say this much. I don't like if I don't other years, even if they're fighting for a playoff spot, like I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, but probably. Like this year, they've got a Muddy Puck has them as the best chance to win the Stanley Cup. They're a damn good hockey team. So I think that a long playoff run and talk about them in a Stanley Cup conversation. Like, I think Tampa Bay, because of what they've done. I think Colorado. I think a few other teams, probably are in the conversation or ahead of them in the conversation. But I don't think it's crazy to suggest that they could be a team that goes in a long run. And if you go on a long run, well, then the Stanley Cup is in that conversation. So do I think they win ultimately? I don't know. I mean, it's a 1 in 16 chance, but I don't sit here and say no, right? Like usually, I'm like, no, they don't win the cup. This year, I'm like, maybe. Like maybe they could go on maybe they could do it. Maybe they could, at the very least, be in a spot where they're playing in a Final Four. And once you're in a Final Four, in a lot of ways, all bets are off. So they're a really good team. They're a really good team this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens once they get to the postseason, because they will clinch a postseason spot sometime in the next couple of weeks. Maybe even as early as next week, I could see them clinching a playoff spot. Great stuff on the live chat. Always love the interaction. Can tell you once again, FlamesNation Live, brought to you as always by our friends at DoorDash. Go download the app, create the account, and you can always use the promo code FNLiveD. We'll do probably again on Friday. We'll do a show that is Good Friday, so it'll probably be a little bit earlier. It's also Jays opening day, so don't want to compete with the Jays game. But Flames play Wednesday in Anaheim and Thursday in San Jose before Saturday against Seattle. Be well, everyone. If I missed you on the live chat, I apologize. We'll do it again later on this week. Be safe, stay kind to one another, and we'll talk to you later on this week. Thanks for being with us on another edition of Flames Nation Live. Talk to you soon. My name is Pat. Go check out flamesnation.ca and go subscribe to the Flames Talk podcast on Apple and Spotify. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's been another edition of Flames Nation Live, brought to you by DoorDash.